This woman writes this post. She says, I'm sick of coupled friends telling me dating is fun. So I'm not sure if she's referring to like the dating phase or the relationship phase. Um, but it's yeah, it's like people justify their decisions they make, whether it actually is fun to do. Maybe they're not in a good relationship, but they'll still say that it is fun or it is a good relationship. So just be careful on that, just because it's like people want to be right. Um, she says, I'm 28, female. I use Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, OkCupid, and Facebook dating. I've asked every single friend I have whether they have any single friends. They don't. Okay. Maybe you're coming on a little bit desperate, but who knows? At least you're taking some kind of action. You know what you want, I guess. I'm well and truly left on the shelf. I can't join hobby groups as it's a pandemic. So she's feeling a little bit helpless. She's feeling like she's tried everything and nothing's working. However, my coupled friends keep telling me how dating is so much fun and so exciting. uh, Today I gave a guy I've been speaking to for a month has ghosted me after we'd arranged to meet for our first date. This is the third time it's happened to me in the past few weeks. This isn't fun. It's draining. It's destroying my self esteem and making me terrified of never meeting anyone. When do you just give up? Well, you're asking the wrong question. You're asking, well, how do I give up or when do I give up? It's like you're focused on giving up. And so what you'll focus on, you'll find. So you'll find ways that you can give up. And that's going to be pretty easy for you to do. But it's like usually the easy ways aren't the effective ways or that give you the emotions that you want. It's usually going through the difficult things. So the difficult things meaning doing the work on yourself to learn about relationships, find some person that you can basically go deep on their content or that you really relate to. And then when you get that person, it's just like study them and study them, study them. Eventually, you'll get the principles behind why they're saying the things they do. And then you can implement those in your own life. Some simple ones you could probably apply. So pickup phase is like, well, looks are pretty important to guys in that pickup phase. And so it's like if you can really put the effort into taking care of yourself or getting dressed up really nice, or maybe you buy some nice clothes, it's not a sustainable approach, even though it is pretty important to sustain. But it does help you with pickup. So it's like, well, that's how are you going to get attention? And so your methods of getting attention are to ask all your friends if they know anyone. And it's kind of like, it almost communicates a little bit too much. So it's like too much meaning that desperation kind of sense. Almost like you're trying too hard. And sometimes it's like when we try too hard and try to force things and force a relationship, it's like we don't get it. Or if we do get it, it's one that we're not really into. Because it's like, well, if we're just in this like desperate thing, oh, I need this relationship, and I'm just doing everything I can. Sometimes it doesn't communicate to other people that you see yourself having a lot of value. So that's kind of what I would say. It's like maybe do some work on your body. Maybe you get in shape, your appearance gets better, and then you're saying your drawbacks are the pandemic thing. But now at current date, it's like, well, that's kind of coming to an end, and everything's starting to open up again. So you have those opportunities, but also you can just go to like places like coffee shops and just have like a regular conversation, and then just see if those regular conversations really turn into things, because that's really what it starts with. It's like you don't need this pickup line or whatever, but it's like if you can make it easy for the guy to set a date, so you display levels of your own interest in him, so you make it easy, so you're excited to talk to him, you have like you're smiling, you're maybe even like touching his arm, or you hint at like places that are nearby, like restaurants, or you're kind of asking him questions that engage and just kind of show your interest. Not to say that you take control over the conversation, but it's just a way to really display interest and just kind of give him as many signs as you can. maybe just always getting into his proximity, but just making it as easy as possible for him to set a date. And then that will improve your chances of getting a date much more. And I wouldn't compare yourself to your friends that are in relationships, because it's really, you're using it to get back to that question you're trying to answer. Basically, is when should you give up? And right now you're using that comparison to kind of just bring you down. And so just let go of that. It's like you don't know if they're actually happy in their relationships. And what you'll find is actually a lot of relationships aren't happy, but they say they are. They put on that front because that's what society wants to hear, and that's what society accepts. And so, in order to be accepted, they'll say how great their relationship is, even though it's maybe a horrible relationship. You just don't know. To start with that, and then it's like, well, once you have a success, it'll really change your whole mindset towards this thing, because it's like, well, right now, failing's not fun. Not succeeding is not fun. And so it's like, when you do succeed, it really changes the whole thing. And it's like, when we're succeeding and when we become good at something, it's like, it's much more rare for us to quit at things that we're really good at, than things that we're not good at. And when you do get somebody to date, just focus on having fun with them, and then try your best to kind of eliminate this need for, like, maybe being overly aggressive, or I need this, or I need you to be like with me. That's kind of just the vibe I'm getting right here. So it's like, if he gives you space, so if he doesn't text you back after the date for a couple days, it's like, well, you be excited to hear from him, and really adopt that mindset that, hey, he cares for me and we had a great date, but he's just giving me some space, versus why didn't you text me back, or whatever, coming from this place of fear. It's a difficult thing to do, and a lot of these concepts that I teach are very difficult, but if you can really go through that process and learn them, then it will absolutely change your life in relationships.